Blueprint for balanced hormones. This is going to change the way you eat. The old way is eating just trying everything. The new way is actually working out and trying different things within your cycle. It's a game changer for women. So if you've just downloaded it, it will be going to your email right now. If you found me on YouTube, there's a link in the notes description, so make sure you go and download yours today. It's a really simple one-page guide. So let's walk through the blueprint for balanced hormones, nutrition that works with your cycle. Well, first of all, we need an overview of the female cycle. So we've got our menstrual phase, which is, I think I like to say it's our winter, really simplify it. It's where we want to kind of cozy up and not do much. Then we've got our follicular phase, which is our spring, and we're kind of coming into life. Our ovulation, where everything, our brain's firing, our hormones are up, everything feels amazing. And then we go into our luteal phase where everything starts slowing down again. And this is a time where a lot of people have a big difficulty because they get the PMS and they get mood changes and headaches and a whole lot of things. So if we're eating with our cycle, what do we do? Well, the first in our menstrual phase is all about replenishing your body because we're losing that blood, we're losing that iron. So it's about making sure that we're having the iron and the zinc rich foods. It's about making sure that our foods are nutrient dense. It's about making sure our foods have lots of omega-3s in it. This is really supporting our body in here. Now in the guide, I've got a few foods that go in line with that, but we also want to look at our timing of eating. So our timing of eating is in our menstrual phase. It's within a 12-hour window, so we can have a little bit more longer or shorter eating time. But what I would say is eat within your circadian clock. So eat 3 hours before bed and eat 1 hour within waking up. So we have that kind of 12-hour window. Don't eat dark, eat in the light hours. That's going to be amazing for you. Foods to avoid is the kind of excessive caffeine, the heavily processed foods. Now, if we're going into our spring, into our follicular phase, what we're really looking at is supporting our body. And I often find what we do in this phase, because we're feeling really good, often this is the time where we eat a little bit more poorly, heads into our luteal phase and the symptoms that we experience there. So if we're supporting our body, what we're doing is making sure that we're having really good quality protein, that we're having the probiotic rich foods, that we're having the high fiber foods, and we're having the antioxidant rich foods. So again, in the guide, I've got a few foods, specific foods that you can start prioritizing here. Foods to avoid, we're looking at really cutting out the heavily processed foods. So we just want to go one step. You don't need to be like this raw, minimally processed, but wherever you are starting it, just go one step more towards a minimally processed. Have a look at your breads, have a look at crackers, have a look at the foods that make up your diet and see if you can have the brand that's one step towards more minimally processed. Also, our optimal eating time here, this is the time where we can actually draw out our fasting window. And if you are wanting to try fasting, this is the time to do it. It's in our follicular phase. So our eating window can go down to 10 hours. And I suggest more eating in the morning and not having, extending our time before we go to sleep. So, eating at 5 o'clock rather than 8 o'clock. So that's what I'd suggest in the timing. And also we want to be avoiding the excessive sugar here. I know that's hard, but this is the time we really kind of dig in and do that. Then we go to the ovulatory phase. I said that wrong. But this is our summer. This is where everything's on. So again, supporting our bodies. We want to be making sure that we're having the fiber-rich foods, again, the antioxidants, or more anti-inflammatory foods. But also, when we're going to have carbohydrates in this area, make sure they're really slow absorbing carbohydrates. So we want carbohydrates in this time, but make sure they're slow absorbing. They're the fiber-rich ones rather than the heavily processed ones. So the brown rice instead of the white rice, the quinoas, the amaranth, those side of things to get your carbohydrates in. Our optimal eating time now is going to be extended a little bit more. It's going to be 12 to 14 hours. So we don't really want to be fasting in this window. Then we move into our luteal phase, and this is the time where we definitely don't be fasting. Please don't fast in this window. It's not going to be great for your body. This is the time where we're really concentrating on foods that love you back. So what I mean by this is it's experimenting. It's making sure that you're not having foods that you are craving and feeling like just because you're feeling a little bit like you can feel a little bit bloated and everything like that. Have foods that is going to love your body back. So increasing the vitamin B rich foods can be a game changer, the magnesium, then making sure your hydration is on point here. Now, I just want to say in this period, just before your menstrual cycle, our protein needs do increase. So making sure you're prioritizing your protein in your snacks as well. Our eating window here is longer. Please don't skip meals, don't fast. It is making sure that you're receiving all the nutrients that you need and you're keeping your resilience up. In this time too, we really want to be avoiding the heavily processed foods. And I also would be avoiding, definitely alcohol is a no-go, but look at caffeine as well and see if that's affecting you, because that can clog up our liver, which then can clog up our estrogen detoxing system. So if we take these foods out, that means our liver's clear, and then we can start feeling a little bit better because we're not getting that high estrogen or the recycled estrogen going back into our bodies, which is causing lots of symptoms. So this is a way of just overall eating with our cycle. And the old way is like thinking that you need to be keto for your whole time or whatever diet you're changing to. But if we eat with our cycle and we start noticing changes in how we can maximize that, then this is going to be way better for you. And it's also going to help you understand that, like trying to fast in the luteal phase is going to make you feel shit. And it's going to make you crave more food. So it's not your fault, it's just your physiology. So don't do it. Let's eat with our physiology, let's eat with our cycle, and a whole lot of other things shift and change. So again, if you haven't downloaded this or it hasn't been sent to your email inbox, then click the link below to make sure that you are downloading it, and just get on it, because if we start understanding our bodies as females, we understand our menstrual cycle and how we can eat a little bit better in it, then it can be such a game changer, and we start to understand our individuality of what humans we are.